Okay, don't take this personally, but a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. You? 8. Let that sink in. In the year 2000, the average human attention span was 12 seconds. Today, it's dropped to 8. That's a 40% decline in just 2 decades. And you feel it, don't you? That constant pull. The inability to sit with one thing. Reading the same paragraph 3 times because your mind keeps wandering. Here's the thing. It's not your fault. Your environment has changed faster than your brain can adapt. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening and, more importantly, how to fix it. Let me paint you a picture of a typical modern day. You sit down to work on something important. Your laptop is open, coffee is ready, you're motivated. Then your phone buzzes. An email arrives. Someone messages you on Slack. A calendar reminder pops up. Your colleague walks by and asks a quick question. Sound familiar? Studies show that the average knowledge worker is interrupted or switches tasks every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes. Some studies say it's even worse. In open office environments, it can be every 40 seconds. Let me put that in perspective. If you're trying to write a report, solve a problem, or learn something new, 3 minutes is barely enough time to remember what you were doing. Think about what work looked like 30 or 40 years ago. You had a landline phone that rang maybe a few times a day. Mail came once in the morning. If a colleague needed you, they had to physically walk to your desk. Distraction required effort. Now, distraction is the default state. Focus requires effort. The world has flipped, and nobody prepared us for it. And here's the hidden cost that nobody talks about. Every time you switch tasks, your brain doesn't instantly refocus, and it has to load the context of the new task, remember where you left off, orient itself, suppress the thoughts about the previous task. This isn't instantaneous, it's a process. Research from University of California, led by Professor Gloria, found something alarming. After an interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to the original task. 23 minutes. Think about that. You check a notification that took 3 seconds, but you actually lost 23 minutes of deep focus. And most people don't even realize it's happening. So let's do the math together. If you're interrupted every 3 minutes and it takes 23 minutes to recover, when are you actually doing deep work? The answer is almost never. And this explains something we all feel at the end of the day. You were busy, you were working, you were doing things, but somehow nothing meaningful got accomplished. You have this vague sense of exhaustion, but nothing to show for it. That's not laziness. That's not poor time management. That's attention fragmentation. Now you might think, okay, I'll just multitask. I'll do multiple things at once. That's efficient, right? I'll answer emails during meetings. I'll text while reading. I'll have multiple browser tabs open. Wrong. Completely wrong. Here's what neuroscience tells us. Humans cannot actually multitask on cognitive work. We can walk and talk, we can listen to music and cook. But when it comes to thinking work, actual cognitive tasks, our brains can only focus on one thing at a time. What we call multitasking is actually rapid switch tasking. Your brain is switching between tasks so fast that it feels simultaneous. But it's not. And every switch has a cost. Stanford researchers ran an interesting experiment. They studied people who considered themselves great multitaskers, people who were proud of juggling many things at once. The results were shocking. Heavy multitaskers performed worse on every single cognitive test. Memory, focus, task switching, even the ability to filter out irrelevant information, all of it. The people who thought they were great at multitasking were actually the worst at it. Their brains had become trained for distraction, not focus. Another study from the University of London found something even more disturbing. Multitasking while doing cognitive tasks reduced IQ scores by 10 points. Temporarily, but still. 10 points. That's the equivalent of missing a full night of sleep. Or being mildly intoxicated. So when you're checking email while in a meeting or texting while trying to read a document, you're not being efficient. You're literally making yourself dumber in that moment. And here's the irony that blew my mind. The people who do one thing at a time, who single task, they finish faster and do better work than people who juggle multiple things. Single tasking isn't just calmer, it's mathematically more productive. The tortoise really does beat the hare. There's a concept I want to introduce. It's called deep work. It was popularized by Georgetown professor Cal Newport in his book of the same name. Deep work is when you focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. No notifications, no interruptions, just you and the work. This is where the magic happens. It's where books get written, where innovations occur, where real learning takes place, where breakthroughs happen. Deep work is rare. Deep work is valuable. And deep work requires focus. Shallow work is everything else. Emails, meetings, quick replies, administrative tasks, Slack messages, filling out forms. These things feel like work, but they don't create value the same way. Here's the problem. Most people have completely lost the ability to do deep work. Their attention muscles have atrophied. Studies estimate that only around 5% of knowledge workers regularly engage in deep, focused work. 5%. The other 95% are drowning in shallow tasks, responding to pings, and wondering why they feel so unproductive. Look at a typical calendar. Back-to-back meetings. Constant Slack messages. Open office distractions. No privacy. Where's the 3-hour block for deep thinking? It doesn't exist for most people. We've designed our workplaces and our lives around interruption. And here's what's scary. Deep work is a skill, like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. The more you fragment your attention over months and years, the harder it becomes to focus even when you try. You sit down to read a book, and after 2 pages your hand is reaching for your phone. You try to think through a problem, and random thoughts keep popping in. This isn't weakness. This is a brain that's been trained for distraction. But here's the good news. Muscles can be rebuilt. Think about everything meaningful you've ever accomplished. Learning a skill, finishing a challenging project, having a breakthrough idea, creating something you're proud of, understanding a complex topic. Those all require deep focus, extended concentration, hours of uninterrupted thinking. Without that ability, you're stuck at the shallow end forever, responding, reacting, but never creating. Okay, enough bad news. Let's talk solutions. The good news is that your brain is plastic. It can change. Neural pathways can be rebuilt. Focus isn't fixed, it's trainable. Here are the strategies that actually work. I've tested these myself. Strategy 1. Time blocking. This is the foundation. Stop letting your day happen to you. Design it intentionally. Block out specific times for deep work. Put them in your calendar like immovable appointments. Not I'll try to focus in the morning, but 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is deep work. Non-negotiable. 90 minutes minimum. Less than that, and you barely get into flow before it's over. Protect these blocks like your career depends on it. Because honestly, it does. Strategy 2. Environment design. You cannot outsmart your environment. Stop trying. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If notifications are on, you will be interrupted. Remove the temptations completely. Phone in another room. Not just face down on your desk. In another room. Notifications off. All of them except true emergencies. Browser tabs closed. Only what you need for the current task. Some people even use a separate physical location for deep work, a library, a different room, a coffee shop with no Wi-Fi. Make distraction harder. Make focus easier. Strategy 3. The pomodoro technique. This one is simple but powerful. 25 minutes of focused work, then a 5-minute break. Repeat, why does this work? Because it gives your brain permission to focus. It knows a break is coming. It doesn't need to check for rewards because a reward is scheduled. And 25 minutes is short enough that anyone can do it, even if your focus is terrible right now. Start with 4 cycles. That's 2 hours of focused work, more than most people do in an entire week. Strategy 4. Batch your shallow work. Instead of checking email 50 times a day, check it twice, maybe 3 times maximum. Group all your administrative tasks into one block in the afternoon. Meetings into another block. This is called batching. When you batch similar tasks together, you reduce context switching costs. It creates longer stretches of uninterrupted time for the work that actually matters. Strategy 5. Train your attention muscle. Like any muscle, attention needs exercise. Meditation, even 5 minutes a day, is a workout for your focus. You're literally practicing the skill of returning your attention to one thing. Reading long-form content rebuilds your attention span. Not articles, not threads, books, long articles, things that require sustained attention. And here's a radical one. Practice being bored. Sit without stimulation. Wait in line without pulling out your phone. Let your mind wander without feeding it content. This feels uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is withdrawal. But over time, your brain learns that it's okay to not be entertained constantly. It starts generating its own thoughts again. That's when creativity returns. I won't pretend this is easy. Our entire environment, our workplaces, our phones, our social expectations, they're all designed to fragment attention. But here's why it matters. The people who master focus in the 21st century will have an unfair advantage. While everyone else is drowning in shallow work, responding to pings and feeling busy but unproductive, you'll be doing what matters. You'll be the one who creates things, who solves hard problems, who makes progress. Focus is becoming rare, and rare things are valuable. Here's what I want you to remember. A goldfish didn't beat you. Your environment did. But environments can be changed, and skills can be rebuilt. Focus isn't something you have or don't have. It's something you train. Start small this week. 1 90-minute block. No phone. No notifications. Just you and one important task. See what happens when you actually give your brain the chance to go deep. I think you'll be surprised. Unplug. Think. Thrive. If this helped, hit subscribe for more on surviving the modern world with your sanity intact. I'm curious though, what's your biggest focus killer? Let me know in the comments. Let's figure it out together. See you in the next one.